hope in Gaza.
We agreed to give a good piece of chance.
No movement in Washington.
We've been caught up in government shutdowns before, but most of them never get to this point.
Supreme Court hears voting rights case.
It is really troubling for anyone to pretend that race is not an unbelievably loud issue in our country.
Good morning, I'm Steve Kathan. With the CBS World News Roundup, a warning from President Trump as Hamas sends gunmen into the streets of Gaza, just days after a ceasefire with Israel took hold.
If they don't disarm, we will disarm them. And it'll happen quickly and perhaps violently.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke exclusively with CBS Morning's co-host Tony DeCopel.
We agreed to give peace a chance. We agreed that we should, the conditions in his 20-point plan are very clear. It's not only that we get the hostages out without getting our military out, but that we would subsequently have both demilitarization and disarmament. They're not the same thing. First, Hamas has to give up its arms. And second, you want to make sure that there are no weapons factories inside Gaza. There's no smuggling of weapons into Gaza.
There are questions about the new flow of aid into Gaza. Many of the dead hostages have yet to be turned over. Of the 4 bodies returned yesterday, Israel says one of them is not a hostage. Here's CBS's Deborah Patton.
The first responders, who for more than 2 years were rushing in to save lives, are now searching for the dead. But it's not easy. When over 90% of the buildings here have been damaged or destroyed, and there are only the most rudimentary tools available. They're just digging with their hands now, this man told us. We're exhausted from this and don't have the energy anymore. Like so many Palestinians, he is desperate to find loved ones left behind. The families of the hostages know the agony of that wait, and they are furious at how few bodies have been returned. But it was always understood the recovery process would take time.
Now to Washington and day 15 of the government shutdown. CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns reports a Senate vote last night failed to pass a spending bill.
The motion is not agreed to.
With Congress at a standstill, President Trump is threatening more targeted cuts.
We're closing up programs that are Democrat programs that we were opposed to. So we're being, and they're never going to come back.
His comments came during a meeting with Argentinian President Javier Milei, whose country has been offered a $20 billion bailout by Trump. Critics slammed the timing.
The overwhelming majority of Americans say we need help with our health care, and they're busy spending $20 billion because Trump seems to really like the leader of Argentina.
In the past week, many federal workers received their final paychecks. Air traffic controllers were among those who received a portion of what they are owed.
Thank you very much.
Many stand out at airports across the country, urging lawmakers to open the government.
Most controllers around the country are already working 6-day work weeks, 10-hour days. They shouldn't have the extra burden of worrying about when they're going to get paid.
Members of the military will get their paychecks due today after the administration rearranged Pentagon funds at the president's direction.
The U.S. Supreme Court is hearing arguments right now in a case that could undermine one of the last surviving parts of the Voting Rights Act. CBS's Jan Crawford.
Civil rights advocates like Ashley Shelton say now is not the time to gut Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act and end the use of race in redistricting.
We cannot pretend that there isn't going to be considerable loss of minority voice and power if we were to do away with Section 2.
Advocates credit Section 2 with increasing minority representation nationwide by requiring states to draw some districts that are majority black. But critics say black candidates are winning in Louisiana and elsewhere in non-minority districts, and grouping people based on their race only fuels divisions. Louisiana Attorney General Liz Murrill says the case shows how states are in an impossible position.
The Constitution has told us to not sort people by race. The courts have told us we can't sort voters by race, and yet we are being told to go out and sort our voters by race.
More than 100 elementary school students are quarantining at home in Spartanburg, South Carolina because of a measles outbreak. 16 cases have been reported. 4 minutes after the hour.
Well, that's today's news. It's 51 degrees in Vallejo, California. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. I guess it's all about perspective. The glass is half full. Well, as always, I'd like to thank you again for coming